Hello, so as the title suggests, this is quite a lazy webcam stream because I'm fairly tired today. I'll make sure I have a shave later before I go to work. So there's not much planned for this stream. I won't keep getting downloads of gas masks on this one. But yeah, we'll see if people come in a second. Hopefully they will. Right, hopefully the microphone's working because I'm not sure which microphone it's using. So I just realised my primary one was unplugged. Is there any way I can check that while the stream's going? Is it using that one? Yeah, it's using the webcam one. Right, apologies if the audio isn't all that good on this stream, because it's using that mic, not my proper Blue Snowball. And I don't think I can actually change that during the stream because I'm using YouTube, not OBS. Anyway, we'll see if people come in a minute. Hopefully it sends out notifications. We'll see. Ah, there we go. Yeah, you're on Shackleton. Right, apologies already. The notification message has gone out because it suddenly jumped from like no viewers to 10. 12, right. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. That helps me out. All right, Laser. Right, apologies if the audio isn't as good because I've just realised that YouTube's defaulted to the webcam's microphone, not my Blue Snowball. So the audio quality definitely won't be as good, but hopefully you can still hear me. Next time I do a stream, I'll double check that it's actually using the Blue Snowball because the wire was a bit loose in the back of it. So that it obviously defaulted to the... All right, cheers. Yeah, so thanks to anybody who donated via Patreon. I cashed that out today. I had just under $60 on there. And because the pound is really weak against the dollar at the moment, which is good for me, that gave me, I think, like £49. So I only lost about $10, which is brilliant. Because when the pound's strong, you get like sort of £7, £6 to £7 per $10. And at the moment, I only lost sort of, probably £2 per $10. All right, Peach, hope you're having an all right day at work. I'm at work tomorrow, slightly dreading it because I think we've got a lot of people off on holiday again, but hopefully they've actually taken that into account on the rotors this time. So yeah, as I said, title suggests this is a lazy stream because I'll get a few gas masks down from the shelves if people want me to, but I don't want to keep putting away loads and loads of stuff today. I wanted to get up early today and didn't manage it. So I hope I sleep all right tonight because what I hate is when I never get a good night's sleep before work. Oh, I fucking hate stock takes. We used to do that at Argos, so we'd have to do all the stock room and that. So we had to go around with like a clipboard and you'd have to write down what you saw on the shelf and the quantities, which is a really slow going job. And then in the end, because I was sort of responsible for it, I had to adjust all the values after we finished the stock take. So I'm glad I don't do that anymore. All right, Jack the Beast. All right, Sam. Hope everybody's all right. I'm a bit tired, but I'm otherwise all right. I'm definitely not going to have a nap in the afternoon today because I really don't want to struggle to get to sleep again tonight because obviously working tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't mind investigations so much. All right, cheers, Laser. Yeah, it's probably because I've not really announced this stream and it's an earlier one. When I do streams in the evening, we get a lot more people on. But that's cool, some random guy. But yeah, thank you. The good thing is, though, when you do the super chats, I actually get the money from that directly from YouTube. So at the end of the month, that's just paid out of my regular ad money, which is really good. Although Patreon technically gives you a better cut of the money than YouTube does. The YouTube one's a lot simpler because I don't have to mess about with it. Is that food, crappies or whatever? Don't think I've had that many, to be honest. All right, cool. Have fun in your marching band practice. What instrument do you play, Nate? Right, on the wall, the ones you can see, there's a Lee Enfield #1 Mark III, the one with all the Soviet masks on it, and there's an L1A1 SLR there, which is the British version of the FN FAL. Ah, cool, tuba. I've played Minecraft, but I never really got into it. Some people on the Patreon server were saying, like the Patreon Discord one, for the donators, could I play Minecraft with them? The problem is, I'm really not into Minecraft. If they wanted to play a game like Killing Floor or whatever, sure, but Minecraft, I just can't get into it. Ah, cool. Yeah, I like the Serbian M2 because it's like an M9 just shrunk down, isn't it, to 40mm. Alright, hope you get over your flu pretty soon, Water Fire Dragon. That sucks. Only thing I can suggest is keep yourself hydrated, really. Make sure you eat as much as you feel like eating. Maybe take, painkillers regularly, at the safe doses and all that to give you a bit of a thing. Yeah, it's weird, the Lee Enfield numbers, aren't they? Because that's a #1 Mark III, or I think somebody said it's actually technically the #1 Mark III Star. But then the one after that's #4 Mark I. So there's not, I don't think there's technically an SMLE #2 or #3. The British numbering system on the Enfields is really weird. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the FM12 Lloyd. It's one of my favourite masks. Yeah, M1 Garands are really nice, obviously. If they made the M1 Garand in World War II with an actual removable magazine, I think it would have been a really, really good rifle. But regardless, it was a really good rifle. I mean, with people's masks, which they find comfortable, I think it often depends on your face shape and everything, and getting ones where the straps don't interfere with your hair and just the right size. Are you saying, are the M61 Nokia masks good? That was the very first mask I got, the V2. This is an M61 V2. I've got the M61 V3, but that's harder to get down because it's hung up higher on the wall. The V3 has a voice diaphragm, but yeah, it's got the comically big nose the M9s had, but that's for the oral nasal cup and the Tissot tubes that go through each of the bit of the nose. So yeah, you can see there where the Tissot tubes are. But yeah, I really like the M61. It's a brilliant mask. It's very comfortable. It's a shame America didn't just keep improving the M9 rather than doing the whole M17 kind of fiasco. But yeah, these are really nice. They're better than US M9s just because they make a better face seal and they've got a better strap system. But yeah, the this mask is very cool. What, the Polish MC1? Yeah, Polish MC1's a very cheap mask, but it's well enough made. I mean, at least they made a mask for their civilian population because Britain didn't. They said that's too expensive. Fuck that. But... all right, Flash. Ah, good. There's a bit more people coming on now, and we've got more likes and viewers, which is good. But yeah, Polish MC1's all right. The Czech CM3 is the same mask essentially, but built to a slightly better standard. But both are nice masks. But yeah, I filmed a video for today. It was on this lighter, but I thought I'd edit and render it, even though it's not a very long video, once I'd done the stream, because I thought if I have problems with the rendering process like I usually do, then that's going to take even longer. Only one Swiss mask, sadly, explosion. I've just got the SM67, is it? The one that has the exhale valve at the bottom. You've got the SM76, isn't it, or 74, which is the same mask with a proper kind of exhale valve on the front bit. No, I don't have a Mossberg. I don't have any shotguns. My favourite tea? Well, technically, I guess, just very strong, what you call English breakfast tea, or, standard tea. But I like green tea as well. I like green tea with, like, lemon and mint. The thing I like about green tea is you don't have it with milk. I also like Earl Grey, but Earl Grey's got a bit of a different flavour to it. Most teas I've tried I like, to be honest. But yeah, so this is the one where this bit will eventually break on it, because the lighters that have this rubber bit on them, that bit always breaks. But yeah, it's got a really nice sort of flip open cap and the arc on there. So yeah, I like the look of this, and these are quite cheap. These are like £10. And what I said in the video when I reviewed it is it's got quite a solid case on it, so I wouldn't worry about it breaking, and it's a waterproof case. So that's nice, because I've got a jet lighter that's got the exact same kind of case design as this, and that's good, but that rubber bit will eventually go. Right, Richard? It's all right, Flash Solid. Very busy weekend at work last weekend. I'm at work this weekend again, and I'm assuming it will be very busy this weekend, because we've had the problem recently where we've had lots of people on holiday and they've not managed the holiday rotas all that well. So, it's where you've just not got enough staff in. It can be pretty nightmarish. I'm hoping, though, tomorrow won't be all that busy, because there's a big thing going on in the local area. And generally when that happens, the roads are jam-packed, because I'm going to walk to work tomorrow. I'm not taking my car, even though it's not a very long drive. I don't want to get stuck in traffic. So I'm going to walk to and from work tomorrow and Sunday. And I'm hoping where they've got a load of stuff on, it's going to mean that a lot of people say, let's not go out to there today because the roads are going to be busy. I do a kitchen porter job at the weekends, which is, like using a dishwasher or washing up in the sink, mopping floors, that kind of thing. Not the most interesting of jobs, but, it gets me extra money coming in. And the nice thing is it's somewhere very local to where I live. So, like I said, it's walking distance from my house. I never normally have to worry about commuting. On a regular day, it's less than a 5-minute drive. The longest bit is getting out of the car park when I leave work. I don't know what you mean by secure networks, but I've just got mine on eBay, because with eBay you get buyer protection. Sometimes you see those in surplus stores as well. I've got an RPK that's deactivated, not an actual AK-47, but if I can reach him without knocking a load of shit over, there you go. So here's a Yugoslavian or Serbian RPK. You can see the handguard's a bit bashed up, but I like that on it. Adds a bit of character to it. So this one's not got the bipod on it, and it's the one with the funny underfolder stock, because for whatever reason, although they primarily made these RPKs with the wooden stocks, they did some of the underfolders. But I think that makes it look quite nice. It looks like a very kind of beat up old AK. So it's still got the atrocious AK sights, because I really hate AK sights. AK sights in reality are nowhere near as good as they look in video games or whatever, because it's like a really accurate rifle sight put on something that was designed to be fired in short bursts. Probably not going to be able to line that up very well for you on there. I don't have a Yugoslavian SKS. I think they look cool, but sadly I don't have one. Probably dogs, to be honest, but I don't have a dog. But I've kept all sorts of animals before, like rabbits, fish, budgies, scorpions, feeder animals that I bred for the other things. See you, water fire dragon. We're getting more mosquitoes now as it gets hotter. Thankfully, I don't really see many mosquitoes where I am, but we do get shitloads of flies in the summer and gnats, which are sort of like mosquitoes, just smaller. When I got this one, the deactivated one, it was only £195. But they've gone up a lot since then. Let me have a look for you, and I'll see if I can work out how much a lot of these cost now, but I bet you. As I said, I really like dogs. They're great companions, aren't they? Let me have a look on D&D Military and see if they've got any RPKs or AKs in, but I bet you there'll be a lot more than 195 now. Well, to give you an idea, an RPK furniture set on there is £45 alone. Let's see, do they have an AK? I'll type in AK-47 or AKM. Lots of the AK parts on their own are like £10 to £20, which isn't too bad. But AKM, £595 for a deactivated Romanian AK. So yeah, to give you some idea, they've gone up a lot since I got that one. GP5's like £10 sort of price, £10 to £20. I'm not actually sure mechanized and weaponized. Problem is, if I take the dust cover off, the issue is it's really hard to get back on, because where they deact it, lots of bits are welded in. I'll tell you what, for you, I'll take it off. But I said the issue with this is, I'll tell you what, I'll do what I did the other day and put the webcam down a bit, because then you can actually see a lot more what I'm doing if I'm messing about with something on my lap. I don't mean my dick. Right. Oh, cool. I'll just get the cover off, because why not? But I said the annoying thing with this one is that, there you go, where they've deact it, bits don't quite go as they should do for this. But yeah, there you go, there's the receiver. You can see where I've got some inert rounds in the magazine. You can see them there, the big recoil spring. With this one, you can still take the front post off, and you can see how they've done, not front post, but you know what I mean, the gas tube there with the top of the handguard. You can see where they've deactivated the barrel there, because it's you can see where they've cut the barrel open and then done a weld in it. So that's how it's been deactivated. Yeah, there's quite a lot of character to an RPK, and as I said, I'm glad I got this one cheap, because I was originally just going to get a standard AKM. This ended up being way cheaper, and it's a bit bigger, so why not? What's that bit there? Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's pretty solid, isn't it? So yeah, I'm assuming this is a bit more durable than the standard AK. Not that AKs have durability problems, but right. Let's see if I can get this dust cover back on, because this is where this gives you problems. Because as I said, where they deactivate it, all the bits don't go quite in as they should. Cool. Yeah, that's good to know. But yeah, as I said, I can't shoot this one, so it doesn't really matter. But it's quite solid. I'd really like if I saw one at a decent price, the Yugoslavian M70s as well, like standard AKs, but with that kind of triple thing on the receiver. But not triple thing on the receiver, sorry, triple kind of vent thing on the handguard. But let's see if I can get this with a pen to come. There we go. Was that? No, I thought I had him in then. As I said, yeah, he's a bit of a bitch, this rifle, if you've taken the bits out, just simply because where they deact him. Oh, that's not right, is it? Where's the... Never mind, I'll have a look at that later off the stream, because it's a bit easier to do. The FN FOW, the SLR, when I got that was 395, I think, but now a lot of them are over $1,000 for ones that do even less than my one, because they're more deaxed than my one was. Yeah, I'll do the dust cover once I finish the stream, because as I said, well, they deact it, it just doesn't go together as well as it should. It depends what kind of gun license you go for in the UK, Frosty. Basically, if you go for a Section 2, which is shotguns, it's fairly easy, although it's still harder than it used to be. Section 1, because I could get a Section 2 shotgun license quite easily, but I've never gone for one because I don't have any land to shoot the shotgun on. So it'd be pointless for me to pay, you know, like the fees of all that and buying a shotgun just to not be able to use it. But Section 1, which is the rifle license, is a lot harder, because I think you need to provide proof that you've been in the gun club or whatever for a certain amount of time. And I think there's a lot more mental health checks done with rifles and shotguns for some reason. I mean, it would make sense if they did the same checks for both, but they don't. So Section 2 is shotgun, Section 1 is rifles. And then I think you might have to apply for things in different calibers once you've got your Section 1. Because I'm pretty sure, and obviously I don't own one, so I'm probably not right. Section 1, I think, is 22 long rifle by default, and then you can get other calibers if you apply for them. But 22 long rifle is the only one you can actually have in a semi-auto state. All the others are basically, you know, they have to be bolt action, or like if the gas system's been removed, so you have to manually charge them per shot. Pistol licenses you can't get. They're military and police only. Some people with very specialized jobs can get very specific pistols. Like vets are allowed to have, I think, revolvers for humane dispatch. Like if they have to shoot a horse or whatever, if there's been like a horse that's been hit by a car and they don't have all the equipment on them to euthanize it properly, they're allowed to, you know, shoot the horse in the head with a revolver or whatever. Yeah, like what Rich says, they modify them so you can only have them for humane, when they're humane dispatch ones. I think a revolver has to only have like 2 cylinders free, or what he's saying. I can't remember the exact rules, but there's a lot of things to do with it. So the point is, you can't have a pistol easily. Yeah, left-handed variants are certainly more rare on nearly all masks than right-handed variants, because obviously most shooters are right-handed. So the majority of masks are produced for right-handed shooters, and then they just do less on the production run for left-handed. You can get weird things like black powder pistols that aren't classed as pistols, so you can own those more easily. Again, like I've said, I've not got any reason to own them because I'd never shoot them. If there was a gun range near me that let you shoot those sort of guns, then I'd be a lot more interested in going through a licensing application. But to go through all, paying the fees and submitting all the stuff for a license for a gun I won't get a chance to shoot, what's the point? That's cool, Flash. 30 Australian dollars, that's like £15, isn't it? Probably less than £15 now. So yeah, that's pretty good. Right, let me just pop that back up there again. Yeah, in the UK though, you can have air rifles under 12 foot-pounds and air pistols under 6 foot-pounds without any sort of license, although they keep bringing that up as though they want to change it. In Scotland, they've made it now so you need to apply for an air rifle license. That's apparently very easy to get. In the proper Gulf War, gas wasn't used, but Saddam did kill the Kurds with gas weapons like sarin and phosgene and stuff like that, but that was a bit before the Gulf War, I think. In the Iran-Iraq War, Iraq used chemical weapons against Iran. World War I was obviously the war where gas was very famously used. In World War II, Japan used gas weapons against quite a few countries, not against the US though, because the US was actually hoping the Japanese would attack them with gas, because America had a much bigger gas stockpile and better quality masks. They were hoping that if Japan attacked them with gas, they could retaliate with gas, and be allowed to do it, and then essentially have a much bigger edge when it came to chemical weapons. But they never did. There's probably been lots of conflicts like the Syrian civil war and all stuff like that where chemical weapons have been used, but there's been nothing on a scale like World War One. Yugoslavia M1 was used in Yugoslavia, funnily enough. Like Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro, all of those that were part of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. No idea, I don't have a fishing license. I don't go fishing. I think if you're fishing in private, like lakes and things, you don't need one. I think it's if you're fishing in rivers and canals, you need one. But as far as I'm aware, fishing license is literally you just pay some money to a post office and you get a bit of paper that says you can fish. Depends where the bullet hit you and what the gas was. If it was a high quantity of phosgene or nerve gas, that would be very quick. If it was, a low quantity of gas, I'd definitely rather have the bullet. But it depends on the gas and where the bullet hits you and the type of bullet. There's so many variables and stuff like that. I don't mind cheddar. The best cheese I've ever had was that Norwegian cheese that's like really, it tastes like peanut butter. It's like a curd kind of cheese, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Airsoft being illegal. Airsoft's got all these weird restrictions on it in the UK, but at least it's not illegal like it is in Oz. Yeah, it basically is brown cheese, Fico. Yeah, if a 7.62 by 51mm NATO hit me in the heart, I'd take that any day over gas. But sarin in high quantities will kill very quickly, because it will kill quickly from inhalation, and high quantities from skin absorption will still kill you pretty quickly. My favourite is the SLR, just because I love the history of FALs, and that's the British-built version of it. But with modern weapons, maybe some of the SIG 550 series rifles, or like SIG P226 handgun kind of things, SIG P220 series handguns. But as I said, because I can't really shoot any of them, I'm not the best person to ask for that. No, that sounds crazy. What kind of cheese is that doesn't melt if you could, put it to heat? eBay. Is that if you search Soviet civil defense posters, quite a lot come up. All right, patriotic Brett. Yeah, I think that's the case of politicians not knowing anything about the guns, Flash, because the reason we had replicas because like this is the funny thing with replicas, right, in the UK. If I show you some of mine, draw reference. This is a Nerf gun. This isn't obviously a replica, but there we go. cruelty to GP5Ms, but so with replica pistols in the UK, unless you're buying them as air guns, in terms of like inert replicas like these, if they're 1870s or whatever from earlier, you're allowed to own them, right? 1870s or earlier. So things like Winchesters and all those sort of rifles you can get as replicas, and like all the old Colt pistols and stuff like that, the Old West kind of things. If it's post that date, the law says you can't have them because you could somehow modify them to shoot real rounds. So yeah, there you go, crazy laws. Hazmat suits. Do you mean the actual hazmat suits that use an air tank, or do you just mean NBC suits in general? I've got NBC suits. I've not got hazmat suits. Hazmat suits are cool, but you need a fair bit of equipment to use them, like the air tanks and all that. Sometimes I dream about cheese. What game's that from? For all the people who you should know if you like my videos. Right, I'm gonna Google this now, Laser. So it's cheese that defies the law of physics, is it? Oh, is it that kind of soft cheese? Springy cheese. I think I might have eaten that before. Yeah, I've definitely had that kind of cheese before. I did not know it wouldn't melt. That's interesting. But yeah, I suppose I've had that in baguettes and things. Yeah, correct. Half-Life 2, it's what some of the civilians say when you just randomly walk up to them and press E on them. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing, Rich. This is blatantly in zombie green colours. This is why I bought this Nerf gun, just because I thought it was funny. It was in the illegal. Because yeah, look, it says on here, it's for hunting zombies. Look, and it's in green. So clearly, this is a zombie gun. So take out the GP4. Ooh, oh no, the dart's falling over there where I won't be able to get it. Ooh, and that one's gone down in the same place. Oh, the cheese rolling thing. Isn't that just called cheese rolling? Well, people get all injured doing it. It's quite funny though, Iron Man. Alright, see you if you're off, Nina. No, Nerf guns don't need a license, even though that's an evil zombie green one. I've never had that. I've had the weirdest thing like that, Frosty, is I was eating some Jaffa cakes at one point, and the citrusy orange thing in one of the Jaffa cakes was like really, really acidic, and it properly burned my throat. It was horrible, but I've never had that since. It was really weird. It was just one Jaffa cake. I don't know if they fucked up the acidity on it or whatever, but it just really burnt my throat. Well, I've never had it with cheese. I've had some, horrible food encounters with other things. That stuff goes down the wrong way and you start choking a bit or whatever. The scariest thing I've had like that is just if you sometimes get really bad acid reflux, you wake up in the night, you keep coughing and you can barely breathe because you're coughing so hard because obviously the inside of your throat's all... Probably tennis, Iron Man, just because I can understand how they play it a bit more. I can play pool, but snooker goes a bit beyond me. I know different balls are worth different points and all that, but tennis is a bit more active to watch, isn't it? I mean, I prefer women's beach volleyball, but, that's a different thing, isn't it? In terms of sports I'd actually watch, right, Diogenes, if that's how I pronounce your name. No, I couldn't do that. In terms of sports, rugby I'll sometimes watch when it's on like Rugby World Cup stuff. I've actually got a rugby shirt on today, but that's purely an accident, just because I found one in the drawer when I was taking shirts out. Things like Battle of Nations, but that isn't shown on normal TV. Sometimes I watch England playing in the World Cup football, but that's quite a big if, and they're normally shit anyway, so there you go. Yeah, with mainstream sports you get on TV, I find a lot of them quite boring. I watched the end of that cricket game the other day, the England versus Australia one. Was it England versus Australia or England versus New Zealand? The one where England eventually won it, but it went on for ages. That was quite a good game, so I did end up watching the end of that just because it was, like one of the few games that went into like a really late tiebreaker. That's weird. I don't think there's any food I can't eat. There's foods that really upset my stomach if I eat them, but that's partly down to ulcerative colitis. It depends. If you wanted certain masks for actual survival uses, Dylan, certainly. If you want them for a collecting standpoint, not really. But for survival purposes, any kind of like World War II masks, because again, chances are they'll be in a good enough condition. You can put a modern filter on them, they're quite slim. Things like the Hungarian M76 isn't that good, although it will work for some people. It just doesn't work for me. But if you're getting any modern mask, that's not really an issue. No, I've not got an Epic Games account, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, what they need to do, Rich. See, I reckon it's even got that tape on there so you don't leave fingerprints on the gun, like in The Godfather when he's got that revolver in the toilet system. Yeah, they need to put a serrated bit on the bottom there, don't they? So you can whack people with a serrated edge. I play games, but I wouldn't really consider myself a proper gamer. I just enjoy playing stuff now and again. I used to play a lot more games, but that's weird. So, but it was temporary, was it, laser? So it went back to completely normal after a while. That's very strange, isn't it? I'd say fishing's a sport, but as I said, I've never really been fishing myself, and I'd never watch fishing on TV, if you mean like that. Yeah, I'd say it is, especially if it's still in date, Johnny. It depends, because if the filter's out of date, then I would never really pay much for a filter, unless it's a really weird, unusual looking one. But if it's in date and all that, $20 isn't too bad for a filter. I don't really know. I find a lot of this stuff quite interesting. My granddad used to talk to me a lot about World War II, so obviously that got me interested. But I used to find like medieval warfare and a lot of stuff like that really interesting. So it's just because these are cheap surplus things you can collect quite easily and have quite an interesting bit of history behind them. That's very weird. I don't think I've ever had an allergic reaction to food. Like I said, sometimes I can get like really bad diarrhea and stomach pains and stuff if I eat something that really doesn't agree with my stomach, but I don't think I've ever had like a proper allergic reaction to anything. Green tea isn't disgusting. Green tea is tea that's not been fermented. Like when you get black tea, which is regular tea, sometimes it's called red tea, they fermented it, right? Green tea is like the more natural tea, which hasn't had much done to it, so it's got a lot more antioxidants and things like that in it. So you're not meant to have green tea with milk, so you basically just brew it in a cup and then your tea's ready. So it's got quite a strong bitter taste, but you get used to it. But it's a very good tea for you in terms of like it's good for your skin and it's quite anti-inflammatory and all that sort of stuff. Thank you, Stalker from Zone. I guess that's a picture of Diatlov, is it, on your PH picture? I thought you'd say thank you for your tea tutorial. It wasn't great, it wasn't terrible. Operation Fork, it sounds familiar, but without looking it up, I'm probably not going to remember what it is. Is it one of those like really silly war operations? Invasion of Iceland? Okay. Is this the thing to do with the COD Wars, or is this a completely different thing? One suicide on the British side. I don't know why I find that funny. So basically no casualties on each side and Iceland was occupied. No, I did not know about this. I know there was a really weird thing called the Fish Wars or something, wasn't there, with Greenland or Iceland at one point. Green tea is quite low in caffeine though, isn't it? Because you can drink green tea quite close to bedtime. It doesn't disturb your sleep too much. Try and restore them if I can, Raphael. Otherwise I just, clean them up as best I can or whatever. I still find them interesting, old broken things. Yeah, my granddad Iron Man was called up in 44 for D-Day, and luckily he survived it, like 44 and 45, and I think he came back, like was demobbed in 46. But one of his brothers was on the Arctic convoys, and he had it the roughest. And one of his other brothers was a medic in Sicily in Italy, and he saw some shit as well. As I said in the stream earlier, I've got some pets, but not cats or dogs. But that might change, but I don't want to get too hopeful on that. But yeah, I would love a dog. But yeah, you can find Lagarsov subtitled things on YouTube. I've just not got around to watching them yet. Legally, it's not hard to get a black powder gun. The weird thing with black powder is in the UK, though, you don't need a firearms license for a black powder gun, but a lot of sellers won't sell one to you unless you've got a firearms license just to cover themselves, so you get into that kind of dilemma. Antique guns you don't need firearms licenses for either. So if ever I see a Martini Henry at a good price again, I've got a load of spare cash, I might buy a Martini Henry for shits and giggles. I hate cold tea. I mean, I know iced tea is a different thing, but tea is like for me one of the most vile things when it gets lukewarm or colder. Yeah, I might have a green tea when this stream ends later, I think, because I've got the green tea with mint at the moment, which is quite nice. Right, see you, Frosty. As I said, green tea is good with my ulcerative colitis, so I like it for that reason, because it seems to always keep my stomach calm. Well, sadly got shot, Stalker, but I guess he did a good job fighting for Greece and all that. Was that on one of the islands, or was it mainland Greece? But that's all quite interesting, like the Greek resistance stuff, isn't it? Like Guns and Navarone and all that. I didn't say I don't like iced tea, officer. What I said is iced tea is a different thing, but I don't like regular tea that's gone cold. All right, Macedonia. It's not been raining here yesterday or today, Rich. We had loads of rain Tuesday, but we seem to avoid most of the rain. I want to actually have a look at the weather forecast for the rest of the week, saying that, and see. What they think the weather's going to be like tomorrow and Saturday. Saturday, high of 23 degrees, no rain. Sunday, high of 24, no rain. Right, I hope it stays like that, because that means that goes against work being really busy. Oh, and there's some puppy pictures, if you can see those. The weird thing is I find coffee, when coffee goes cold, it doesn't bother me as much, but tea is one of those things when it goes really cold. Yeah, one of my dad's relatives was one of the soldiers in Oxbucks that liberated Belsen, and he never got over that. You know, all like the bodies everywhere and all the starving civilians and that. Stream's gone quite dark, hasn't it, talking about stuff like that. Suppose £58 for it outside of the UK with original and replacement filters is probably a decent price for the S10, because I keep forgetting that they do cost a lot more than they cost in the UK outside of the UK. Sounds interesting, Dylan. But yeah, he probably did some pretty sort of undercover stuff, didn't he? Right, Zone Slav. You can work out from my YouTube username how old I am. You'll be able to get it right within the year if you do it properly. And it's not very hard to do yet. A lot of people can't figure it out. Yeah, I've definitely known that, Stalker from the Zone. The other thing that's really annoying is when I spot masks being sold by US sellers that are US gas masks at a really reasonable prices. They're willing to do like £10 postage to the UK, but if I buy them, I know US customs will seize them, because it's illegal for Americans to sell gas masks abroad. Yeah, but that's just simply because a lot of these masks are old model ones, Officer Jenkins. The same goes for literally any mask that's out of production. No, I'm not 93. I'd look very good for a 93-year-old. Alright, the only reason the disclaimer's not on here, Laser, is because I'm not streaming via OBS, because that is more likely to cause the stream to crash. I'm streaming via YouTube, and you can't put overlays up via the YouTube streaming thing. So unless I got a bit of card and stuck it somewhere, I can't have a disclaimer. But yeah, I've not had anybody in ages asking really dodgy political questions or like questions like that, so it's not been a problem. But yeah. I mean, I'd rather have the full screen available. But yeah, I don't mind having a disclaimer, but at the moment it's a combination of I can't put one up without manually printing one, and I've not actually needed it. Yeah, patriotic Brits, correct, with the year of my birth. I think they've discontinued it to some degree, Iron Man, but you can still stream via YouTube, so they've obviously changed it. I mean, I don't know if that means if I want to do a joint stream with Mike, if I can do that or not now, via Hangouts, because yeah, I will have to test it with Mike at some point, but... Which particular model, Officer Jenkins? The S6, the S10, the FM12, which one? I do play games, but I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. I spend a lot more of the day watching films, sorting out YouTube stuff and that than playing games. Although recently I've got quite back into Fallout 4 and Skyrim. So the last few days I've been playing quite a few hours of Skyrim each day. Just because it's weird. Skyrim's one of those games where I keep trying to feel like I have some sense of superiority. Like, oh, Skyrim's, not that great a game. But then when I actually properly get into Skyrim again, I do end up spending a lot of time in it. Because, again, thing is with Bethesda, I just wish they polished their games a bit more. Because I think Bethesda could make some of the best games ever if they put a bit more care into their games. But with Bethesda, you generally have to rely on mods to fix a lot of the issues they never got around to fixing. What, the British Mark III helmet? Yeah, I've got a couple of British Mark IIIs, Iron Man. If you mean the British Mark III sort of military helmet. Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it, Rich? Especially when we don't actually have any rules on us not being able to own crossbows. But yeah, I mean, the FM12 is still an in-production mask, Officer Jenkins, so it might just depend what country you're in. But in the UK, it's very easy to get FM12s. In the US, I imagine it shouldn't be too hard because a lot of US police departments actually use the FM12. But Avon is specifically carrying on production of the FM12 because lots of countries just want to buy a simple, cheap, retro military kind of respirator. So the FM12 is basically that. You know, as much as they do the really fancy panoramic ones and that, the FM12 is kind of just a really good conventional mask. Which one do you mean by the new Chinese mask? Adam, which model mask is it? I've already reviewed the M65 that's up there. If you mean the panoramic one, it's been recorded, the panoramic one. No, if you go on Avon's website, let me just get the thing up for you. And then you do... Which bit do you go on? Military. Actually, I don't think that bit works. But if I click this, there you go. If I post this link in there, there you go. See, the FM12 is still one that they apparently, from what I read, I've not seen an independent thing verifying this. The FM12 is one of the best-selling masks still in the world because lots of kind of developing nations now buy it as their kind of military mask or police mask because Avon apparently sell them pretty cheaply per unit price. But yeah, let me tell you when that video comes out on the Chinese panoramic mask, because that shouldn't be too far away. I'll tell you what tonight's video is as well. Right, what's today, August the 2nd? I'll need to go back a page to tell you what today's video is. Oh, people might like this one. It's the Daisy Red Rider being shot with a gas mask on with a green tint with Fallout music on top of it. So it's called Daisy Red Rider Fallout style, and YouTube's not actually demonetized it. So I hope people enjoy that because I had a lot of fun doing that video. It's kind of a throwback to some of the really old videos I did with air rifles. But the Chinese one is August the 9th. So what's that, next Friday? Yeah, next Friday. Next week's videos are amateur Bokken sparring with me and Bart, and then Bart's brother fighting with the Bokkens. Then the video next Wednesday. So yeah, sorry, Sunday's video is the amateur Bokken one. Wednesday next week's video is the Italian Spaziani TR2002 panoramic respirator. And then Friday's video next week is the Chinese panoramic respirator. So 2 panoramic respirator videos tomorrow. No, I don't think I've seen that. Is that a recent World War I movie, or is it an old one? What did your comment say, Iron Man? I didn't see it, so yeah, YouTube must have deleted it. Try rewording it differently and see if I can see it. Yeah, that's all right, but yeah. So that sounds annoying, the Bulgarian M72. So they made a helmet that could have been decent, but there's metal screws that go through the liner that poke into your head. That's an annoying feature. But yeah, the reason they still do the FM12, as far as I understand, is lots of countries that want to buy masks that don't have a massive budget for it. The FM12 is like their budget mask now. And that kind of makes sense because it's, you know, the cheap generic style of mask. I'm not saying the FM12 is bad, I really like the FM12. CT12 is my favourite mask out of all the masks I own, but things like that and the Fushida F2s, I think they are just a very refined design on the retro kind of gas mask design, which is why they work so well. As much as, you know, you can have all these fancy voice communications units on masks and panoramic lenses and all this, I think it's probably quite easy to make a mask down to a budget that's, you know, built like that. Yeah, I've seen Under Siege 1 and 2. The woman in Under Siege 1 has great tits, doesn't she? The one that comes out the cake, Iron Man. But that's not what you were asking. I can't remember him calling the MP5 an assault rifle. But Under Siege 2 is the one on the train, isn't it? Under Siege 1's the one on the ship. If I spot one for a good price, not Alice, I'll get one. Berlin Wall, choose your own adventure. That sounds very strange. But well, it's technically 1939, but they'd have made it in the 1940s. The Finnish M39, which is the Finnish version basically of the German Volksmask 37 or Volksmask 37. It's actually got a proper XL valve on it. If I had it in this room, I'd show it you now, but it still worked. My one, 40mm NATO filter screw into it, and it's still airtight and works against banana oil. So that really impressed me. But yeah, if you search Finnish M39 respirator, that was the World War II civilian one. I don't know if they gave it to troops as well. But that's a really good mask when it was made. It's probably the best quality World War II mask I've ever seen. I think Lithuania or Estonia, one of those, and the other Baltic states also had a very similar mask. The Polish helmets I find really interesting, though, are the ones that have that weird texture to them. I think there's a proper name for it, but you might know what I mean. You know, the Polish helmets where it looks like it's kind of got, it's like a 3D kind of texture to it. Oh, I love Deadly Prey, especially the bit where Cameron Mitchell does his drunken monologue bit before he goes, "Die, you son of a bitch." And there's no music down there. Oh, I'm going to get the quote up and read it in a Cameron Mitchell voice, even though I'll probably screw it up. But if you haven't seen Deadly Prey, watch Deadly Prey. It's a Rambo. It's not a good Rambo ripoff, but it's good fun. Here we go. Who am I? A little man who spent 27 years of his life as a cop trying to put big shots like you away. 27 years in the filth and dirt of the streets, and there ain't no music down there. You watch the people on the streets killing, raping each other, pumping dope through their veins, while big men like you sit in the fancy penthouses. And yet the poor slobs rot in hell. I know about you, as long as it puts money in your pocket. Today the nobodies who made you rich are gonna win. Die, you son of a bitch. Then he really limp-wrist fires that revolver. But yeah, Deadly Prey is a brilliant movie. Yeah, the reason for that Nautilus is sadly I didn't realise until the stream started. It's using my webcam mic, the actual mic on the webcam, not my blue snowball. So it ideally should be using this mic. That's my good mic. But YouTube defaulted to using the, because the cable wasn't in tight at the back of this, it defaulted to the wrong microphone. And once the stream starts, you can't change the mic. So apologies for that. But next stream, I'll be able to sort that. I think it's definitely worth more than 3.6 out of 10. Maybe it's actually 15,000 out of 3.6. But yeah, I mean, the webcam mics, it's got two mics on there. There's a mic on the left side and a mic on the right side. So that's not too bad. But obviously, if you compare the size of both the little mics on the webcam, they're tiny compared to the Blue Snowball. And obviously, the Blue Snowball is a better, more, directional mic and all stuff like that. But yeah, as I said, it's good enough, isn't it, for one stream? But yeah, I'll definitely make sure, especially because I bought a proper mic, that next time I stream, I'll make sure that I double check YouTube's options. Because obviously, sadly, if you rely on the defaults, it always defaults to things you don't want it to. Yeah, I like No Country for Old Men. Came out the same year as There Will Be Blood. I prefer There Will Be Blood, but No Country for Old Men is a really good film. It's a shame that modern films in the cinema aren't of that quality anymore, really. It's all cape shit, isn't it? Not that I really hate superhero films. I just wish there were more serious films coming out. Yeah, I like Monty Python. Annihilator. Right, let me look that one up. Iron Man. TV movie 1986. Is it this one? Humanoid killer robots stalk a newspaperman who has knowledge of their existence. One of the robots is made to look like his girlfriend. Yeah, cool. I'll try and remember to check that out at some point if I can find a copy. But I really like schlocky B movies. If you run it at 3.6, though, it would technically run cooler, wouldn't it? It's still going to be another, 2 weeks, sadly, before I get my computer. It's going to be about the 16th, because, for those of you who didn't hear, because this Ryzen 3s have been in such high demand, everywhere is really slow at getting the bits in at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, though, when I stream, it seems to have a bigger delay. So I really don't know why sometimes the delay between, when I say something and, see the chat messages and all that is delayed, and other times it's not. It seems to really vary, and it's not like an internet connection thing. It's almost like at the server side, isn't it? So I really don't know. Poznan in Poland. Yeah, I've been there. I can't remember much of it because Krakow and Warsaw were the main bits I remembered from going to Poland. But I went to Gdansk and a couple of other places, and Poznan was one of the places in for a day or two. Some do, some don't, Nola. It depends if they're the military ones or the ones built for the civilian market. The ones built for the civilian market and industry do. Chinese military masks, apart from the older ones, aren't NATO compatible because they're just GOST now. Might be fun, yeah, Iron Man. I'll have to look into doing something like that at some point when everybody's got time to do it. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, a thing that's worth doing, I can't do this at my end, but if you hover your mouse over the stream, see where there's the red thing if it says live. If it's not red on the live bit, click that, because sometimes if the stream lags a bit at your end, YouTube carries on from where it was. It doesn't jump to the live point, so that can always be a thing. Yeah. Hopefully they carry that on, because I think it's good, isn't it? Generally, NATO is better than GOS, just because more nations use NATO. I mean, what would be ideal is if every single nation just did normalized threads on masks, so you could put GOST or NATO filters in without a problem, but sadly most don't consider that. Are you going to go to Estonia, Jimmy? Have fun? I've never been to Estonia. Oh, the Webley, the Webley Mark IVs or whatever they are, that £200. I'm very tempted, but at the moment I don't have the spare money for one, because obviously I've got the new PC coming soon and everything else. But at some point when I next want to splurge on a gun, I do think I want to get an Webley air pistol, yeah. The kind of World War I style Webley air pistol, yeah. If that's the one you're on about. I really do like the look of that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, part of the reason for that Iron Man was they were worried that if more and more NATO countries got involved, they were worried that the Soviet Union would come in to back Argentina, and it would turn into another Cuban Missile Crisis. So I can understand their point of view, but yeah, I mean, luckily, even though Britain's military was cut at that point, we still proved that we could kick the shit out of another country. Although the thing that lots of people don't know about the Falklands War that's quite interesting is one of the only reasons we won it was because Chile were actually on our side. And what Chile did, Pinochet put loads of troops on the Argentine border. So Argentina was worried if they committed too many troops to the Falklands Islands, they'd be invaded by Chile. So that was one of the reasons, because Chile was actually a really good ally during the Falklands War. And another thing they were doing in the Falklands War is they picked up a lot of shot down British pilots with like boats and things like that. I've not been to Tank Fest at Bovington, but I've been to Bovington Tank Museum before. All right, Kill Strike, I'll still be on for a few more minutes. Yeah, again, they didn't want to fight, did they? And the whole thing was done basically to save a failing regime over there, where the war was a distraction thing from like all the like domestic goods and all the the problems they were having in Argentina itself. The war was to try and stir up patriotism. I don't have anything against Argentine people at all. I'm just sort of saying the war was kind of a very dodgy thing if you look into it, where a lot of the stuff of the war happened because it was basically to try and distract people away from the government's own failings. And that's when the government lost the war, the people overthrew the government pretty quickly after that. I haven't actually seen the Lindy Page video on the Falklands. I do like Lindy Page videos, though, even though you shouldn't take them with 100% historical accuracy. From what I remember, your least favourite mask was the Czech M10. Well, the thing is, the Czech M10 is a cheek filter mask. That's one of the reasons I don't like it. And my one just got me very angry putting the cheek filters in. I'd say masks that just aren't fit for purpose, I'd say, are the worst mask. Because I think any mask, if it protects you from gas, even if it's not very comfortable, whatever, it's a serviceable mask. Scott GSR I really don't like, but that's because they endangered British troops by buying it, and it was made to such a low standard so they could buy them really cheaply. Right, see you, Dylan. I'm sure I'll go to Tank Fest one year, Nola. Well, it depends. MG42 is better for suppressive fire and everything like that. Bren gun was better for being kind of just a lightweight squad automatic weapon. Compare the Bren to the Bar, and that's more of the kind of gun it was meant to be. The Bren was not in the same class of MG as an MG42. In like outright, you want a machine gun to shoot lots of lead down range, MG42 is better any day of the week. In terms of accurate kind of suppressive fire, that's what the Bren was for. Yeah, there's very weird things with gas mask development, Officer Jenkins. Right, before the stream ends, because I'll be on a couple more minutes, I'll just say this now. If you're interested in supporting me, there's a link to my Patreon below. You can do super chats on YouTube as well, or you can buy the Teespring merchandise below. I get a bit of money from any of that. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. Subscribe and tick the bell if you want to see my videos, because it seems that unless you relatively frequently tick the bell and do all that, YouTube won't show you my videos, which never helps. Although I think my views are going up again recently, which probably means YouTube's in a phase where it wants to show my videos again. Because it's weird. Sometimes YouTube will do this thing where they seem to hide my videos from people. Yeah, my top 10 scary gas mask videos got more views than usual again, which generally means that YouTube's promoting me a bit more, which is good. I've had some nightmares, but I've not done another nightmare anthology video yet because I've not had enough interesting ones. I had a really weird nightmare last night, though. It was one where I wanted to go to a restaurant or like a pub for dinner or something like that. And we couldn't get through the main door, so we had to go through the attic. And then there were loads of security guards. And I started getting in fights with the security guards in the attic to get into the pub. It was a fucking bizarre dream. It wasn't scary. It was just bloody weird. Yeah, I'd say MG42 is, like I said, better if you're in a bunker or something, but the Bren gun is designed so you can move up with it pretty quickly and, quickly deploy it, shoot fairly accurately. Right, cheers, Officer Jenkins. That's the annoying thing with YouTube, is that as much as you can keep making content, a lot of YouTube seems to be down to, do YouTube actively want to promote your kind of videos at the moment? And depending on what that answer is, depends on how many views you get. I mean, luckily I'm monetized, but some of the channels like Mike's that aren't monetized, they literally can't get views for things, even if people want to watch them, because YouTube won't share their videos. There's been all the Jorg Sprav stuff about this, or however you pronounce his name recently, that's quite interesting, that was getting brought up in another stream. Because basically, he's doing a thing with a massive German union, and they're putting some demands to YouTube, where basically what's going to happen is they want to see if they can get YouTube to go into like talks with them, because there's a lot of stuff where YouTube is breaking sort of different laws about openness, where they don't publish how they do certain things. So that's going to be very interesting, seeing what happens with that. I mean, what I'm hoping is that might just make it a bit clearer for content creators, the content YouTube wants you to make or not. Because at the moment, if you don't know, YouTube's basically got a lot of rules, and there's some rules that you're not allowed to know what they are, but you must follow to them. You know, which is always great, isn't it, if you're a consumer? Well, most of my videos are on things like gas masks and history-related things, so it's not that hard to get monetized. But again, there's certain videos YouTube promotes more than others, to put it simply. So that's the issue. Because I sometimes see videos from channels that have way less subs than me and get way more views per video, because they're doing videos on a subject that YouTube actively wants to promote more. And again, YouTube won't ever tell you what those subjects are. And I wouldn't randomly go off and start making videos on the subject I'm not interested in just because I think it would get me more views. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's very strange on YouTube. Yeah, M2 Browning is very cool machine gun, but yeah, it's obviously very heavy, isn't it? Yeah, what you're saying, Laser, is I should make more clickbait, which I don't really want to make, but I didn't actually make that video as clickbait because, in my opinion, at the time I made it, they were the top 10 creepiest masks in my opinion. But I'm definitely gonna have to start factoring more slightly clickbaity titles into videos without making clickbait. You know, where the title actually reflects what's in the video, but make it sound a bit clickbaity. I think just because you know, that's better for getting in viewers. But now I've done a few more lighter videos that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. YouTube always seems to like promoting them. For whatever reason, YouTube seems to really like promoting lighter videos. I don't know why. So if I start doing a few more lighter videos on the side of gas mask videos again, that might just boost all my views up a bit more. I mean, they're not bad at the moment. Yeah, but the thing is, Iron Man, I don't want to talk about trending things that aren't related to my channel, because that defeats the point for me. My channel's about a sort of certain type of hobby. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Non-disappointing clickbait where it's actually relevant to the video. Well, personally, I use an Android phone, Frosty, but my one's not even a like Samsung. It's just a Motorola, because Motorola's are cheap and they work. So there you go. I think YouTube says they're going to be cracking down on prank videos soon because of all the outrage they've had over a lot of them. Anyway, I'll be off in a minute. My room's got quite hot again because I've got both the lights on and the doors are shut, which means the heat builds up pretty quickly. Well, I've got a G4 Frosty, I think. There's definitely newer Motorola's out since this one, but I like my Motorola. I don't need to upgrade it for ages, and when I do, I'm sure the latest model Motorola will be way better. But right, cheers, Iron Man, and thanks to anybody that's donated. I know Laserpoint did. I can't remember if anybody else did at this moment, but thanks. I always appreciate donations, whether they're via Patreon, Super Chats, people buying merch, because it all goes to help me buy more things. For people who didn't hear yesterday, I've ordered a Finnish M71 gas mask now. So that will be pretty interesting when that comes. Didn't type what, Alex? No. Oh, your friend was on the phone. But yeah, I'm tempted to see if the Finnish M71... All right, thank you again, Laser. I appreciate it. The good thing as well at the moment is, I might have said this to you the other day, where the pound is doing very badly, whenever people donate to me now in currencies that aren't pound sterling, I end up getting more money from it because the pound's weak, which is great because both Patreon and YouTube actually pay me in dollars, and then it just translates to pounds when I get the payment. So the pound being weak is actually really good for me. because it won't affect my wages I get from my weekend job. When I get paid from YouTube and stuff like that, it actually means that I make more money this way. And I've not seen prices go up in the shops just because the pound is weaker against the dollar. So that's always, you know, a really nice thing, to be honest. Anyway, so hopefully the M71 arrives next week, and then I can get a video done on that. But then again, it won't be live for a month. I'll definitely show it in streams. Won't be streaming tomorrow as it's Saturday. We'll probably stream Sunday evening about 8 or 9 p.m. as usual, UK time. And then I'll be streaming most days in the week again. I don't think I've got much on next week, so there shouldn't be much to interfere with streaming. But yeah, that's the funny thing is, if in the UK at least, the pound is quite a strong currency, which is nice if you're buying stuff from abroad. But if you want to get paid, you want the pound to be weaker, because then you get more pound sterling for whatever currency. I'd go for the Tokarev personally, Riley. Is that a Tokarev you can shoot? If you can definitely shoot the Tokarev, definitely the Tokarev. If it's a non-firing Tokarev, then it's completely down to you. But if I had the option of pretty much any historical gun versus a bit of clothing, I'd always go for the historical gun if it was a firing one. Yeah, I really like the USSR Anthem. I assume you mean the one that they had in like the mid-40s. Yeah, because the 7.62 by 25mm steel case round shreds armor, doesn't it? Even a lot of modern Kevlar Tokarev manages to go through quite easily. Anyway, I've gone over the time, so thanks everybody. It's been a great stream. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you for the donations, Laser, as always. Just to answer you quickly together, I don't know at the moment, because I used to get them from Blades and Bows. Merlin Archery still sells some crossbows, so maybe look on there. But yeah, see everybody, thanks, and I will be streaming Sunday evening most likely, so I'll see you then. And enjoy the video tonight about the Daisy Red Rider Fallout style. So yeah, thanks everybody, see you.